I think, honestly, 0 stars for the book. 0 stars. I was bored. There was no uncle action.
I think give us more blackmail. Give us more blackmail. Blackmail makes us feel something as well. We feel desperate for the character that's
Fight
being...
for that. Blackmails make you feel something. It's crazy. That's crazy.
I need to remove myself after that. But, let the police handle it. Why doesn't anyone ever just let the police handle it? I suppose I know what it's like. You've seen a few too many episodes of Sherlock and you fancy yourself a private investigator. Courtney Gray certainly did, right after her family vacation was interrupted by a blood-curdling scream.
I hate when that happens.
Followed by the lifeless bodies of her sister and brother and the missing body of her niece, Reese.
Yeah.
I know what I would do if it were me in that situation. Not a damn thing. But then Courtney is the main character, isn't she? And she definitely knows it.
I want to know, does anybody read the blurb of these type of books and it fills them with excitement? I need to see what happens.
If they read it and don't put the book down immediately.
I would never choose to read a book like this for myself.
I'd never.
You know what I'm going to read?
This is the most obvious God of the Woods in my opinion. It's so obvious.
Like, yeah. So, did you like it? Pause this video right now. Go and read It's Not Her by
Mary Kubica. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library. I suspect I'm butchered that author's name once again, but who knows? What kind of name is Kubica anyways? I blame her for that.
Well,
yeah,
she can blame her husband.
What do you think is worse? Do you think it's worse having a bad boy premise that the author messes up, destroys totally, or do you think it's worse before you've read the book, reading the book with an incredibly bad premise and just wondering how many 12 hours of rubbish do I have to come? Because it just does not fill me with hope.
I think it's better to start the bar in hell and then whatever happens, I can be impressed. It's easier to impress me. But once you start the bar in all the way up there,
penthouse.
Yeah, you got a tall order.
Yeah,
you got a tall order
to a lifestyle you can't maintain.
You can go first since you have more than
me. How many do you have? 3?
Yes.
Sweet. I love, and I mean love, when a story isn't afraid to cut to the chase early on. This isn't Game of Thrones. There's no need for the slow burn. Get to the action right out of the gate, and I'll never question whether I want to keep reading. And that's exactly what this book does, and I commend the author for it. The high-octane opening seems to be a dying art. So Courtney Gray is on family vacation. She's washing dishes, as she should be, when her niece runs toward her, covered in blood and unable to speak. Courtney speeds over to the neighbouring cottage to find her sister-in-law's body on the porch. Now that's what I call an opening. Let's just hope this author hasn't introduced me to a lifestyle that she can't maintain.
Yeah, see, I was lost in the beginning. I don't know if I like that straight into action.
Well, you need a little bit of foreplay.
I don't know. I think it's nice if you're going to take somebody away from us, make me like them. That's the way I see it. I think
that's a good point.
You've wasted that.
Yeah, it's a waste of a character. It's a waste of shock value as well.
Exactly.
Like, the next time you kill somebody, it's not going to be as big as this time because you've already killed somebody.
I'm desensitized now.
That's fair. Did you just change my mind?
How dare you?
Literally, without my consent.
Hacking my brain. But yeah, my God, this book is painfully boring. I already struggle with murder mysteries and missing person plots, but this one gave me absolutely nothing to latch onto. I didn't care about Reese, and honestly, Reese isn't a girl's name anyway, is it? I certainly didn't care about the so-called double murder. A good book is supposed to make you care, to pull you in emotionally, and this just didn't. The beginning dragged on for far too long with very little happening, and it's not until Daniel Clark is introduced that things show even a hint of life. He's a creepy resort employee, controlling, intense, and clearly interested in Reese for all the wrong reasons. And for a moment, it feels like the story might actually go somewhere. There's also an odd thread involving Reese's uncle showing some kind of inappropriate interest, but frustratingly, it leads nowhere, and feels more like an empty bait than meaningful plot. Overall, the pacing is incredibly slow, with chapter after chapter offering no real progression or discovery. We're given a cast of unreliable characters and a pool of potential suspects, yet nobody actually uncovers anything. It was all tell and no show, and by the end of it, I was just feeling frustrated. Do you think if we actually got any action from Reese and her uncle, would you be happy to rate this book 5 stars?
6.
But
6
in
out
all
of 5.
seriousness, did you experience boredom in the beginning section of the book, or was that just me? Because after obviously the reveal of the double murder,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, it just the pace just went.
That's murder mysteries, though. That's the funny thing. Murder mysteries are
No, but
typically boring
you can
books.
still entertain us though. Because I did get a bit of entertainment with Reese and Daniel. There was a little bit of entertainment going on, but it just was not nearly enough. It was just boring.
I suppose it can be entertaining, but it's just like there's normally a drop off. If that high octane opening normally experiences a drop off,
You can have
obviously
to drop off.
slow the pace down.
You can do that, but we could still entertain us.
Yeah, you don't. There's never excuse to be boring, really. I don't know why I'm making excuses for boring.
Exactly.
for
Maybe
boring
it's because
writing.
you're boring.
Shocking. So, a time skip, eh? You know what? Fair enough. I'm not even mad at the time skips anymore. I'm more mad at myself for being surprised by them every time. At least this time it's only 7 days. One problem I actually have is there are a lot of characters in this book. There's May, there's Reese, there's Wyatt, there's Daniel Clark, there's Courtney, of course, even deceased characters like Emily. Murder mysteries typically have a larger cast, probably to keep the readers guessing, but I didn't feel like this book needed a large cast. To be fair, very few books do need a large cast, but this one seriously didn't. I wanted to give a shit about the characters that we had.
Yeah.
So I just felt like there was way too many. There was a sister-in-law, the brother-in-law, there was the niece, the nephew, there was Daniel Clark, I was just like, there's just way too many.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary.
It was unbelievably necessary, and books with large casts, one thing that I find, they don't do anything with the characters.
Yeah, I didn't get
They
to
don't
know
like
them.
make use of I don't know how you would make use, but I'm not the writer. You're the writer. You do it.
The book is structured around two main POVs, Courtney in the present day and Reese in the past, which is meant to gradually reveal what actually happened. In theory, it's a solid format, but in execution, it really didn't work for me. Courtney, in particular, was both useless and insufferable. It's a terrible combo. In her chapters, she becomes increasingly paranoid, suspecting absolutely everyone, including her own husband, of murdering the Kane family. At one point, she notices blood on his shoes and genuinely believes he's capable of a triple murder, even as going as far as considering calling the police on him. It just felt ridiculous. What happened to till death do us part? If he did it, you should stand by him. There's also this strange tease with her son, Wyatt, who becomes aggressive while sleepwalking, but like other plot threads, it doesn't really go anywhere meaningful. Most of the book, however, is spent in Reese's POV, and that's where things really started to drag. Her storyline is largely centered around her relationship with Daniel, and it quickly becomes repetitive and uninteresting. There's very little substance, it's all surface level interactions without any real progression or depth. It feels like the story is trying to pass off a fairly unremarkable teenage romance as something compelling, but it just doesn't land. For a murder mystery, there's a serious lack of tension, intrigue, or payoff. Instead of building momentum, the narrative just loops over and over the same beats again and again, making the whole experience feel flat and honestly pretty tedious. I wanted to DNF. I have a question. Did you like any of the characters at all?
I liked Wyatt.
Why? I like Daniel.
Blackmail.
He didn't blackmail anyone.
No, it's Reese. Blackmailing Reese.
No, that was... Wait, Wyatt is the little boy, isn't it? The sleepwalker.
Wait, who was blackmailing Reese?
The uncle.
For money?
Oh, wait.
Wyatt was blackmailing Reese.
Oh, yeah. There's... Yeah. Because I think I got confused by this point. Because I thought the uncle was blackmailing her because he saw her in the woods with a boy. But I think Wyatt also saw her in the woods with a boy.
Yes,
and he
I
was
remember that.
So
Yeah.
so the uncle. This is what the uncle should have been the one blackmailing her, but not for money. And the boy was blackmailing her instead because the uncle said, "I'm gonna tell your mom," and she said, "Well, I'm gonna tell him you touched me," or some shit like that, which was just a bit left.
Yeah, it was a bit left, but that would have been an interesting twist, didn't it? If, like, let's say the uncle tried to blackmail the girl or whatever, and then she flips the script on him. That's something I've never seen before, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just thought of a better twist for this story. The element of blackmail in this story is for me the most interesting thing I've seen so far. I wish more stories would use blackmail and not just as an ending twist, more of a thematic storytelling device. I feel like a lot of the times we've seen blackmail in stories before, it turns out at the end that somebody was being blackmailed and that's the reason for all their misdemeanors or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to have blackmail as a part of the story on the way through so we can feel the desperation of the character.
Yeah. It was for like 40 quid or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, legit. It's always 40 quid. Like, immerse us in the desperation of what it must be like to do things you don't want to do simply because the alternative is too terrible to even contemplate. Show us how a good person could be driven to thoughts of murder and violence from sheer maltreatment. This is another author's trick, by the way, the misdirection. While we wait for the big bad to show up, the author gives us something from the side, just entertaining enough to keep our focus while we totally forget about the threat in the background. I find it especially fascinating because it's so real. In life, threats don't just come from one direction. A person can have many enemies and many people can be engaged in skullduggery at once.
So in other words, watch your back.
Exactly, watch your six.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about murder mysteries, and this is probably the only thing that I could say I love about murder mysteries is that they preserve this illusion of threats coming from loads of different places at once. So even if one person that you think could have been behind the big crime or whatever, they may not be innocent. They may just not be guilty of the crime that you think they're of, and it's like there's loads of overlapping crimes, etc.
I've got one more, and I'm revealing everything, so maybe you should go. Because you got two more, isn't
No,
it?
I only have one more. I just did third.
All right, I'll go then.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not just one disappearance that gets wrapped up. Both mysteries are tied together in one neat, overly convenient package. Naturally, it all comes back to Daniel, with everything revealed in a way that feels far too clean to be believable. We learn that the father of another girl who went missing years earlier breaks into the Kane family's home and brutally murders both parents with a baseball bat. And why? Because he believes that Reese, their daughter, is actually his long-lost child. But instead of doing anything remotely rational, like watching from a distance or going to the police, he jumps straight to double homicide. It's completely absurd. Even if you genuinely believed your daughter had been taken and raised by another family, there's no world where breaking in and murdering them is a logical or believable response. Then, almost as an afterthought, we get the reveal about Kylie. Was it Kylie? The other missing girl.
Yeah.
And somehow it manages to be even more ridiculous. It turns out Detective Evans was responsible all along, having killed her in the hit and run. But not just in any accident, he was apparently pretending to run her over and got too close, accidentally killing her. It's the kind of twist that makes you stop and question everything, because it's just so implausible. The story seemed determined to tie up every loose end, no matter how forced it feels, rather than letting anything breathe or remain unsolved. The only slight saving grace is that Evans isn't caught and doesn't conveniently end up in some prison-like moral wrap-up. So that's the only saving grace. But yeah, as we discussed before, it seems like authors are happy as long as there's a aha right at the end of the book. 0 stars. You might have got some. Might have got one if there was some uncle action. But
I did think it was shocking the way they attempted to tie up the end of the book as well, with Evans being a bad guy. But I agree. Not every question needs to have an answer to it, and I don't like when they do the whole it was an accident thing, and it's just like, so all this has basically been for. I just feel like it's been all for naught. To be fair, everything that I've read is.
So do you think that was an accident where he accidentally tried to run her over, but then
that's not an accident though, is it?
So you don't think he accidentally did that?
I don't think you can call that an accident.
So what you're saying is he did that on purpose? What are you saying?
I'm just saying that I don't think you can call it an accident. You know, there's,
So you can't say
murder,
whoops.
and there's manslaughter.
So you couldn't. It's not a whoopsie.
Definitely can't say whoops. It's definitely not a whoopsie. It's definitely not.
He didn't mean to do that. So what
No,
you
but
saying?
a
He
whoopsie
murdered
is
her?
not an accident. A
What you
whoopsie is
saying-
not an accident. A whoopsie is like a totally random, like you had no ill intentions of any kind, sort of.
He didn't have ill intentions. Did he have ill intentions?
He didn't have good intentions.
He had harmless intentions. Surely.
That's not the same thing as ill intentions, though. Harmful intentions is not the same thing as ill intentions.
But he didn't have it. Did he have ill intentions?
I don't think he had good intentions.
Did he murder her?
No.
What? He ran her over with a car.
Listen, this is for
So
a
wait,
jury of his
if he
peers.
got a car and then he went, "Grrrr," I didn't mean to murder her.
No, see, that's a bit different. To be
Why?
fair. Because that's what I'm saying about it not being
What's
an
the
accident. When you
difference
start
with
shooting,
a bullet?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a car is just a big
It's a big
bullet.
bullet.
It's a big metal bullet.
It's a big bullet. And you ran inside it instead of shooting it.
So did he murder her?
I don't think murder is tough. Murder is the premeditated, unlawful killing of another human being. So
So he got in a car and ran her over. He drove towards in.
I don't
He
know
actually
if
aimed for her
don't-
and ran her over.
I don't know if a jury would call it premeditated based on the facts that they have.
Murder doesn't. Yeah, murder's premeditated.
I think it has to be premeditated.
But premeditated just means you decided to do it in the moment, basically, or just before the moment. You took out a gun and shot somebody.
Not necessarily, because sometimes they look at things like, if you want to murder somebody, you go to their house earlier in the day, or whatever, and you steal a key on your way there, and then you leave and then come back.
Yeah,
and
that's
at night you
premeditated.
got your key. That's evidence of that's premeditation, but it doesn't mean that you thought of it right before or
No, but I'm saying let's say you got into an altercation.
Yeah.
Someone stole your parking spot, right?
Okay.
You turn in, you see you and then he goes, yeah, and you pull out your gun and shoot him. That's still premeditated murder.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
you decided to do that in the moment, but you pulled out your
But
gun.
then you did it. But
Yeah,
then you did
you
it.
pulled out your gun. That's premeditated.
So
It's not like you punched him. If you punched him and he dropped over and hit his head,
yeah.
or even if you punched him and you killed him, that's not premeditated. Because
So he should go to prison for life, is what you're saying.
I'm asking you.
No, I'm not. I mean, I suppose it depends on like your definition of murder. I
I
suppose.
think boys will be boys.
Oh wow, shocking.
But yeah, all right. So
Yes.
in turn, I think honestly 0 stars for the book. 0 stars. I was bored. There was no uncle action.
I'm gonna. I think. Give us more blackmail. Give us more blackmail. Blackmail makes us feel something as well. We feel desperate for the character that's being.
Fight for that. Blackmails make you feel something. It's crazy. That's crazy.
I need to remove myself after that.
Crazy,
But,
yeah.
yeah, no, it makes us feel desperation for the character that's being, extorted. It makes us feel, anger toward the villain. It makes us feel something. I think more blackmail. Fewer characters as well. Smaller cast.
Wholesale changes.
Basically, yeah. Wholesale changes.
0 stars.
I'll give it 1 star for Blackmail. I'm gonna give it 1 star for Blackmail. I'm nothing if not an opportunist.
Fair enough. Till next time, I suppose.
Till next time.